Hey, welcome friends to Radpod and Chill.
Hello.
If you're watching, you know who we are, but just for formalities, Heidi Kuda, Hi Fi, Jim Stewartson, Sean Connor. We do have breaking news. Sean ate a gummy. So we don't know what's going to happen.
You're a day late, dude. What the fuck?
I know. He sends us a message going, it's 4:20. And I'm like, I don't know. Am I going to tell him it's 4:21? I don't think it matters. Maybe every day is 4:20.
It's one better than 420.
Yes. 420 plus 1.
420 plus 1.
The gummy is his plus 1. So I missed you guys. There may have been, Easters and Passovers and all those great things, but it's like, disinformation never stops. And wow, it's been one hell of a week. I have a quick parable I want to share with you guys, and then I'm going to share another quick parable, and then I'll shut up. My friend Roger never got a cell phone ever. He just thought it was really bad and very dangerous for privacy reasons, and he's just one of those people who just never got one. Alternately, he reads a ton of books. He's very smart. He's like a walking history professor. And I get all of the leftovers. So after he's done reading a book, he sends them to me, and I read books too. So I don't know if you can see Children of Nazis, but I want to share this book with you guys because I'm pouring through it right now. I'm reading it every second I have a break, which is not very often. But a couple things popped out that really relate to the work that we do. One of them is that during the Nuremberg trials, it became very clear to American, psychiatrists, psychologists, that what the high-level Third Reich members lacked was empathy. Yep. So there was, of all the things that people can discuss, the consensus was these men lacked empathy.
You have to lack empathy.
Right.
You have to be a sociopath to do that.
Right. Okay, great. So, and we talk a lot about empathy and the lack thereof on this show. But another thing that kind of really jumped out at me was that each of these men thought of themselves as moral people and doing good. And I say that because that othering thing that is continuing to be weaponized is very powerful.
That's what all fascists do. They scapegoat, right?
Okay.
Scapegoating
right.
is one of the most important psychological phenomena here.
Right. Third thing that I have to just blast out, and then I'll just take a break. These children often wrote different narratives for their parents. Of course, they're going to love their parents. The woman who wrote this book, the idea is so brilliant to focus on the children of some of the major horror figures of that particular century. They were allowed to continue creating a mythology around their fathers that then festered into these movements where they became these rock stars of these movements, and people would go, kiss the ring of, Himmler's daughter or whoever. And that is something that I really wanted to blast out to our viewers and have you guys weigh in on, because allowing those seeds to be planted really helped nurture what I think has grown into this massive, likely global problem of not only revisionist history, but the neo-Nazi movements that we are seeing that are, proliferating. So not silencing, just allowing this disinformation, these false narratives, these myths to grow, has turned into something I think that we are seeing manifest in a very terrible way today.
Hi, Pi, what's up?
when I was a kid, I used to run the streets, blue collar background. But I used to hang out with sharps, skinheads against racial prejudice, right? Hard drinking, smoking, obnoxious sons of bitches. We used to beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
But worse than we beat the crap out of each other is if there were any fascists around or white supremacists or rednecks in the college town trying to start problems with black folks, gay folks, women, didn't matter.
Yeah.
We'd stomp the shit out of them.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know what happened, like why we stopped doing that. I mean, you look at the Dropkick Murphys, they're ready to pound those Nazis who use their song. Maybe we need to bring that movement back across the country.
That was a big deal in the hardcore and the straight edge scene,
Yeah.
That I'm sure a lot of us were either tangentially involved in or got into, you know what I mean, with the bands, obviously, and the ideology and the culture. And it was, it was kind of, I mean, it wasn't the de facto thing that you did. Like, I never fought any, skinheads or anything, but I definitely saw a bunch of hardcore shows where the audience parted, and it was like, oh shit, everybody get back. And then it was, here comes the big bad skinheads, and then here comes the hardcore straight edge kids, and now they're gonna fight. And it was like kind of a thing that happened at underground shows frequently. It was weird.
It's true, and it killed some of the punk scenes. When the gangs and the skinheads moved in, it actually killed some of the scenes. It made people feel obviously less safe in an already sort of chaotic environment. But yeah, I mean, to your point, Hi-Fi, I think that I'm so troubled by it because I'm always the zoom out girl. I always want to look and see what it looks like 10,000 feet up. And what it looks like to me is a lot of normalizing of white supremacy going on right now at very high levels, a lot of normalizing of trolling culture, a lot of money to be made from these anarcho-capitalists, as Jim talks about. And so I just, I wish we could just frickin', dig in and just pitch it out, because I feel like it's metastasizing. I'm concerned.
The neo-Nazis, the fascists, they're always there. They have always been there, right? Like what I've come to sort of feel is there is always a fascist movement in humanity, right?
Okay.
On some personality tests, there is a characteristic called authoritarianism. It doesn't mean that you want to be an authoritarian. It means you like authoritarians.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people who actually like that, who actually want a big father figure, and they want a scapegoat. They want somebody to blame for all their shit.
Right.
This has been there forever, since humans. So the question is, what does your society do with that
That's right.
element of people? Are you able to manage that part of humanity in a way that protects everyone else, right?
Right.
And I think over history we have sort of had a pendulum where we do better and worse, and we are now in a pendulum swing where we're doing much worse, and the catalyst for that is the fucking internet, right?
Yeah.
We've like hold on.
Lack of education.
No, I mean, sure, it's education, yes, but it's also just there is human nature. There is a part of humanity that likes that shit, and it's just, do we allow that part of humanity to take power? Right?
No,
because that's what it
can't.
wants.
How do we make empathy sexy?
Hold on. In a lot of
we don't.
like existentialism, Kierkegaard and Sartre talk a lot about how willing individuals as human nature are to forfeit their freedoms, right?
Right.
To forfeit all the decision of their freedom, right? So that they don't have to have that responsibility. So they will willingly give over that freedom to someone else to make the decision, so that they can be more comfortable.
You know what Donald Trump said tonight? And I normally don't quote Donald Trump.
Right, I saw that.
He said out loud, "I'd rather be a dictator than a dumb person."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about a dummy
He
dictator?
said that out loud
Yeah.
after forgetting the phrase person, woman, man, camera,
Yeah.
TV, which I still remember from back then. Yes.
So I just want to go on the record and say that Sean on a gummy, quoting Kierkegaard, probably is my favorite moment on this show ever. I just had to go on the record and say that.
It's tough. Yeah, I mean, people.
No,
You know,
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I want to make empathy sexy. I want to make empathy cool. I want it to be a cherished feature in society. I was at something recently where I was listening to somebody who was way too tan and way too slick talking about how only business leaders can save XYZ. And I'm thinking, we tried that. And quite frankly, who here is really grateful they voted for the lifetime politician as president? I am.
Look,
I am.
We first of all, we need to have a temporary pause on men. I'm dead serious.
Word.
I'm totally fucking serious. For
Word.
the next I don't know, 20, 50 years, I don't give a shit.
Dude,
dudes need to step back.
I said the same thing today to Heidi.
This is easy. Honestly, it's just a bunch of fucking dudes who have been mind-fucked into
all their masculine options
and misogyny.
Yeah, over and over, the same fucking masculine options. It hasn't worked. Maybe we can tinker it this way. Maybe we'll try this way. You know what? Fuck, we've tried every way. Ladies, go ahead.
Have you tried tanning your balls?
I swear to you, if you put that contract in front of me, I would fucking sign it.
You would sign it?
Yeah. I'm done with dudes. You fucking suck. So I think that, look, I think humans are empathetic naturally, most of us.
I'd like to
think so. I think there are some of us who aren't. I think even authoritarians are empathetic. The problem is that we've got a goddamn brainwashing machine out there that is chewing people's empathy up and spitting it out.
Yep.
Wow. That goes in the promo, Connor.
Our
12 minutes in.
Empathy is gone, not because we are not empathetic. There's no, sort of marketing campaign we can do to get it back. What we have to do is stop poisoning people.
It's funny you say that, because there are marketing campaigns that women leaders in other countries have put together that celebrate empathy, and that is how they made caring about your community work during COVID. Literally,
that's fantastic. It's not going to fix fascism right now, is the thing. That's all I mean.
Empathy is very hard to manufacture without
that's right.
Without a context, without a community. And that's one of the major problems with social media, is that it's never off. So there's a version of you constantly online representing yourself from your last thought or tweet. Even though you may have moved on from it, it's still there. Yeah. Someone's interacting with that energetically with you that doesn't exist anymore. So you come back on and someone's attacking you from some shit that happened, a month or 2 months ago.
Yeah, look at Dave Troy's going through right now, because he actually is calling out Musk on what he sees, as a very clear and present danger. And of course, all the bought and paid fanboys are challenging.
Elon Musk is a fucking problem.
Yeah.
That goes in the promo. See that? Okay. 13 minutes in, Connor. No.
Can I say something about guys real fast? Look, weak ass beta males.
Who's that one guy? Sorry.
They think that it is their job as men to ride roughshod over everyone. Oh, I got to stomp down. Think about what Trump said. We got to dominate. No, that's not how real fucking men work. Real fucking men take care of the tribe and they protect their members. They make sure that people are safe. You want to do stupid shit? That's cool. Do it safe. All right. You want to whatever, right?
Yeah.
I don't care who you're rubbing genitals with. I don't care. You want to be a boy. You want to be a girl. I don't care. As long as you're safe, as long as you're taken care of. That's what a real man fucking does. Is they take care of the tribe. And these fuckers in the Republican Party don't take care of the tribe. All they care about is stomp, 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 and troll.
Power.
There's only a certain amount of responsibility I can attribute to Trump, right? Because obviously knowing how he was raised, how his father was, but then the larger party in general, that's where you get very, very, disgusted, because, Trump is only capable of so much intellectually, emotionally, whatever. But then you have this group of, individuals who we would like to think would be capable of mature, adult emotional decision making, and we've just seen the exact opposite. I mean, who's the woman in Missouri, the Democrat that gave the incredible speech?
Right.
McMurrow.
Right.
McMurrow. She was a
fucking
Michigan
hero. If there's anyone who hasn't seen that,
Yeah.
Idol.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
best part was that it was really, she was just introducing herself and how powerful that can be. Like to really
Beautiful.
to not hold any punches when you introduce yourself. It fucking floored me, man. It was incredible.
Yeah. We got to fight. That's exactly what we got to fight for. Well, I want to say one thing because, Hi-Fi, you're a badass. You're a badass. Okay. Let's just go on the record. But dude, badass. Okay. But let me tell you about this badass. I had such a broken heart last year. Oh my God. And Hi-Fi stumbled somehow into my timeline with that creepy ass avatar, but everything he was saying was so on point. He understood the news and the big picture and what it meant and why it mattered. And really, I leaned on you a lot for news, but more than anything, I leaned on you for friendship. I was a broken, lonely heart activist, which is a lonely place to be, even in the best of times. And as my friend, you would talk to me for 3 hours. We made a pact, we'd be lonely together, it would be fine. And you've stuck to that. You've been such a great friend during thick and thin. And, I don't know, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I look at all you guys and I think that of the value that you bring to my life, and then the value I think that we bring to the information war that we're living in. But wanted to share that because not a lot of people give that much of their time and their space.
I'll fucking pipe in and say Hi-Fi is one of the most generous people I ever met in my entire life.
Yeah.
So
Right.
anyway, let's
you guys, you're ruining my rep. Stop.
Let's stop being nice to him though. It's fucking making me kind of sick.
I would just like to.
Let's watch a video of something terrible. Can we do that?
Is it a trigger alert or what is it?
What kind of
it's just I just want to play Jason Sullivan threatening the country. Real quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
that. I've seen it, so I'm okay. I'm cool.
That's my favorite one. 1 second.
So this is
call, right? Yep. Here we go.
that?
You want to introduce it, or you just want to play it? The conference call?
Yeah, I'll introduce it. So Jason Sullivan is used to be Roger Stone's assistant during 2016 when Roger Stone was fucking around with the Russians.
Yeah.
So Jason Sullivan was doing that. I ran into Jason Sullivan in 2020 because he was running a bunch of fucking Q LARPs, and I found one that was about to kind of take over for Q, and then I got suspended 7 times, and then he's been really, really mad at me ever since. Anyway, I put him on my chart right in the middle of my QAnon chart, a long time ago, because he was right in the middle of it, and then my friend and source, Stacy Burke, has provided me with quite a bit of interesting info that we'll be talking more about in the coming while.
Yeah.
But this one I thought was something important to get out right away. So let's play this.
Let's do it.
Heidi's pumped.
I am. Well, Jim's been doing
He's very well. There's a lot of options here. There are still several different paths to victory, so to speak. Okay? I don't think we're going to go into a civil war. I don't believe that's going to happen. I don't believe our president is going to allow that to happen, number one. So far, other countries are involved. To England, to Italy, to China, to Iran. Okay? We've got people in the Department of Defense that are researching every single breadcrumb trail, every single yellow brick road. They know where the money is. They follow the yellow brick road. People are caught red-handed.
Military tribunals for truth type of stuff.
It is going to be wild. These people are implicated. And when they certify those states, they're certifying their crime. There needs to be pressure here. This is the red line. Okay, and everybody, I've heard that earlier in the call. This is the red line. So we absolutely positively need to put that pressure there to where they feel it. And it may be having so much pressure that they do the right thing. Okay? And then okay, because that's coming too. There's going to come a point, and it's going to be soon, and President Trump knows it has to be soon, because there are people, and I've heard dates, and I think Melissa, you mentioned a date, there's dates floating around with some of the people in the militia, okay? They will not allow Biden to go into the White House. Okay?
Oh, really?
So do you think we're going to allow that to happen? No. There will be a limited form of martial law, which would, at that point, there's no more playing games. We're telling you, you have a curfew, and you got to abide by it, otherwise you're going to...
What's that other audio? Is that, you guys hearing that, or is that just me?
That's people
in the
talking
background
over the
of the
recording.
audio.
Oh my God, that was fucking me up. Sorry.
Get shot in the rear end, okay? And they may be real bullets. Who knows?
Must have been high, Sean.
But he's not going to allow them to descend on all the cities and burn all of our cities down, for one. And the main reason for that is because if they did allow them to do that, our militia would step up and meet them with great force. And we would therefore find ourselves in a civil war.
The money shot.
Does anybody doubt that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, that's what I'm afraid of. We are, and I applaud every single one of you who are on this call because you are those people. We need a new type of patriot. Okay, there's a difference between Americans and citizens and patriots. Right? Patriots are the ones that will die for this country.
Everyone that's on this call is
why I invited
absolutely
you.
that person, and our top leaders
feel it.
tremendous to chase it.
Wow.
Those aren't patriots. Those are fucking traitors.
Jim.
Right. So,
Give us the summary of
that
that.
was December 30th, 2020, 1 week before the insurrection, which was the same day that I did my thread where I said, hey, Mike Flynn and a bunch of people being organized by Ron Watkins and Jason Sullivan are about to go to the fucking, Capitol, and people are going to die. That's
And
what I
don't
said
go.
on that
You
same
warn
fucking
people
day.
not to go. You know?
And anyway, so I want to say something right now, just real quick about Stacey Burke. Stacey is a genuine whistleblower, and she's a hero of mine. And I want everyone to understand that out there. If you're making shit up about Stacey, it's really not a good idea, because she's got all the receipts in the world. And she is doing the right thing. She was in the cult, right? She was in it. She was really in it. And she was doing shit that she doesn't even believe she was doing at this point. Because she got out. She managed to get out. And she is doing her very best to do the right thing.
Wow.
And I just want to publicly say very much admire her, and you're going to be hearing a lot more from her. I'm going to stay as much out of the way as possible. But I think her voice is going to be really important. She's a great example of somebody doing the right thing, but she also knows exactly what went on.
Right.
So we'll find out.
Here's a problem I have. All these fucking cult members, these 1AP motherfuckers, these oath keepers, these big burly dudes, these cult members, they're threatening a woman.
They are. They have been for a year and a half.
They're
These
bitches.
Sorry,
Fuck that.
little.
Stacey, I got your back. I hope you're safe.
So
Anyway,
one thing I want to say about all your reporting this week, Jim, is that I think it's important to frame for our viewers the magnitude of this dilemma, in that we have an endless supply of names and people. And when we look at what January 6th, committee is up to, it's like, this is so massive. This is not like a couple of people. This is a faction within our government that is huge. And I believe these are domestic terrorists, and as you always write about, led by Michael Flynn and his cohorts. But the enormity of it is what's striking to me. There are so many players.
Yeah, there are, and it's very complex. Like talking to Stacey, she dealt with there's a lot of people involved, a lot of people running a lot of different psyops on, all over the place. I mean, like it's just a whole bunch of people doing everything in their power and using anybody that they could in the process, in the project to overturn a free and fair election.
Right.
for Vladimir Putin. Like, let's, like, I keep needing people to fucking step back here. Think about what was happening in the fucking White House.
Yeah.
And this goes to the series that I'm writing with our friend Gal Suburban, who will be on in a little bit to
Hell
talk
yeah.
about the next one. But I wrote a piece, the part 2 of our series about the meeting, which is unbelievable. It's a bunch of Russian assets in the fucking White House figuring out how to overturn a free and fair election.
Yes.
Where is the titanic failure in our fucking system that allowed that situation to happen?
Well,
Right?
I have a theory.
Sidney Powell, Mike Flynn, Patrick Byrne, Mike Lindell, Donald Trump, fucking Rudy Giuliani in the fucking White House discussing how to destroy democracy. What the fuck?
Jim, oh God, high five! You're shaking your hand. Go ahead.
Okay.
And then Heidi, you go. Then me go.
I got to bring this up, okay?
I know you're going like this.
Because there's two things going on, right?
It's kind of endearing.
So Alex Jones, I mean, did you guys see that Alex Jones is like, I didn't do nothing wrong, but I want immunity to testify.
Yeah.
The fuck is that?
After
and apparently,
Alex Jones did everything wrong.
Alex Jones
is the
and
dirtiest
apparently
Russian fucking.
Okay.
I'm thinking Russia Today might start a give, send, go for him.
Can't just jump back. Go ahead.
Well, actually, Ali Alexander and Kimberly Guilfoyle and Sidney Powell apparently are starting a new GoFundMe
a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, they're starting a new one. It's called Stop the Squeal.
Oh, stop.
But
okay. So
right.
that's
was that whole setup for that?
It was.
It was.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
wait,
Jim,
are we live?
cut it in post.
Oh shit.
We are.
So seriously though, I have a theory on what Jim just talked about. So you add fossil fuel industry interests with white supremacy, and I think you have a much greater understanding of why there's so much Putin and Russia love, right? Okay, so then you add the Koch cadre, which we learned about from Nancy McLean, which employs 3 times more people than the entire government GOP members. So 3 times more of what we actually have in the government. So you combine that money with fossil fuel interests, white supremacy, and I think you kind of get the scope of what we're talking about and why it is so hard all the time when we force, 4 of us here, we see the truth. We're always fighting for the truth. And then I go to the absolute doom scrolling, Twitch show and I see the operatives, the corporate media, propping up all these people. Yeah. Giuliani, who should be, probably in prison for the rest of his life for all of the infractions that he has done, appearing on NBC. And recall, we had a president, quote unquote, or asterisk president, who was under contract to NBC. So, you combine all these interests and it's beyond compromat. It's beyond, the Republicans being hacked during, 2016.
There were fucking 8 Russian assets in the White House.
Yeah.
One of them was the president. One of them was a retired general.
Yeah.
They were running a psyop on America.
And word up to
cause
Malcolm
an insurrection
Nance.
Because Plan A didn't work.
That's right. And word up to Malcolm Nance for just completely owning Mike Flynn when you did that video clip and it got Nance's attention. I think Rotten. Yeah. Actually, do we? Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that double-edged sword. Do we want to see his freaking face?
I like to see Mike Flynn because every time I see him, it makes me hope that the Marine Corps calls me up to be his executioner.
Yes. Hey, let's cut that in post.
So here's
the next 72 hours.
Here's the thing about this.
Hi-Fi was a Marine.
What's that?
Hi-Fi was a Marine. I love that about him.
So the nice thing about this Flynn thing is that Emerald Robinson, who's a comically obvious asset herself, says to surprised Flynn with this clip. Like, he was genuinely surprised, and you can see him for about 30 seconds trying to figure out what his propaganda attack was going to be.
Yeah.
And he finally lands on, he's just gonna die.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And it's actually kind of interesting from just a psychological point of view to watch this guy like go through his different attacks and finally just land on, fuck it.
Well, I think it's interesting, your point being that he didn't have any pre-scripted propaganda for the moment, so he had to invent something on the fly, and boy, did it come out bad.
He says at one point, was he working for a fascist dictator or for the communists? I'm like,
yeah.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
What that means is Michael Flynn is fucking jealous of Malcolm Nance, because Malcolm Nance is an actual fucking warrior. Mike Flynn is a fucking paper tiger piece of shit.
Well, he's a fifth column goon for Putin.
Well, that's true.
He plays for Putin.
All right, let's just check out a little Malcolm. I need a little Malcolm in my life right now.
Yeah, we love you, Malcolm, and we want you to be safe. Oh, please be safe, Malcolm Nance.
Is this a video that you want me to play?
Yeah.
There's the gummies kicking in. Is this a video?
The gummies are kicking in.
Gummy kicking in.
You guys are on first name basis.
I want to go get my hat.
You're on first name basis with these videos, and I'm not.
Every time someone says, "Who's your Twitter crush?" I'm always like, Nance.
All right, there's just Flynn's threatens. Is that?
Yeah, that's the one.
Gotcha.
Oh my God, you're blurry. Is that how you're seeing the
That's
world
the edible.
now?
That's the
corporate
edible.
media is pushing for this as well. And one corporate media person took it even further. MSNBC's contributor Malcolm
Kind of shitty, but I like her yoga
done
symbol.
talking, and he's went to Ukraine to fight. Listen to him with Joy Reid.
The more I saw of the war going on, the
We
more
love you, Malcolm.
I'm done talking. All right, it's time to take action here. So,
we love you.
about a month ago, I joined the International Legion here in Ukraine, and I am here to help this country fight, what essentially is a war of extermination.
So is he fighting for?
He also, I should note, was one of the big.
Is he fighting for a fascist? I'm sorry. Is he fighting for a fascist dictator, or is he fighting for communism? Right? I mean, whose side is he on here? Is he on the side of? I mean, really, that's the first time I've seen that clip, actually, and I just find that fascinating. I mean, you know what? War is not fair, and is he supposed to be a journalist that's reporting the news, or is he out there trying to make the news? What kind of ploy is that? And frankly, I hope that he's being watched by the good Lord, because he's in a very dangerous place. The fact that he's dressed like that, he could be killed soon. So, all of the reporting coming out of.
You want to keep going?
So the rest of this is literally just Flynn negotiating on behalf of Putin.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, he's going through all of Putin's agenda topics from the meeting and like advocating for Putin and calling Zelensky a drug addict and a Nazi and just
straight up Russian propaganda.
But not even like Russian propaganda, like, oh, that looks like Russian propaganda. Like Putin's spokesman wouldn't even say this shit. Literally, Peskov wouldn't say it. So they got fucking Mike Flynn doing it.
So we
How many bodies does Mike Flynn need to see before he realizes he's on the wrong fucking side?
No, I don't think it works like that.
He wants to see bodies.
Yeah, that's the opposite.
I'm sorry, but he wants bodies. He wants a lot of bodies.
I used to think back when he lied to the FBI and was on his way to becoming a convicted felon that he was somebody that had been compromised. It wasn't just money. It wasn't a love of fossil fuel. It wasn't white supremacy. He seemed like somebody who was truly compromised. Why would an American general be Putin's proxy?
Because the black guy fired him.
Well, that is part of it.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
look, Flynn has always been a malignant narcissist. Like, if we want to get into his psychology, he's always been a bully.
Okay.
Always been a narcissist. It served him well, in the military. He moved up real fast because he was willing to, like, break any rule he needed to in order to get where he was going.
Yeah.
Trump, right?
And he got first of all, he met Svetlana Lakova in 2013, which didn't hurt. And then in 2014, suddenly started fighting against Obama doing anything about Syria, and also saying that the Muslims are the most dangerous thing in the entire world, and so we kicked him off.
Oh, something else just hit me, Sean, before I forget it.
Oh, okay.
Malcolm
Sean
Nance
keeps
is
raising his
a
hand, though.
true American hero who's actually fighting on behalf of democracy. Mike Flynn's there in a Miami Vice jacket on some show, run by My Pillow guy. Obviously, there is no greater, dichotomy between the two men. There's no greater, essentially you have a man who's a hero of great depth, and you have, a Putin bitch.
Hillary, a woman, also. Like,
I'm thinking huge misogynist, and also clearly must be a racist too, because you see Malcolm Nance there fighting on behalf of democracy, and the guy who probably isn't wearing socks, looking like
Mike Flynn is an everything but Mike Flynnist.
Okay, thank you.
Literally,
all right,
like he is 100% a racist, anti-Semitic, all those things. Also an occultist.
Occultist?
No,
I said it first.
Yes, that's right.
Sorry, I missed it.
Sean?
I would like to propose a quick shift over to tomorrow's hearing with Marjorie Taylor.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah.
Administrative hearing.
Yeah.
I've been covering that for a while. You guys.
We broke that news right here on this show.
Part of that, and I was wondering if anyone in chat knows where we can watch that live. I've been looking.
Actually, I do. Midas Touch is going to be streaming it on their YouTube channel at 8:30 a.m.
Fantastic.
Gotcha. So they're okay. So we'll get a press.
Wouldn't that be amazing? She looked desperate.
She is desperate.
She looked desperate.
She's scared.
Here's the deal: is that she's guilty, right? And so you're seeing the sort of ramifications come out in her mind. So then this is going to sound bad, but going to school, college in the South, there's a certain type of sort of debutante, daddy's little girl who gets everything sort of given to her in a way, never was really challenged, never has had to defend her argument or defend her point of view. Always gets out of everything.
Yeah.
So now, right, very, very real ramifications are coming for things that she said, that she can't just fucking talk away or intimidate someone into believing that she didn't say it. And it's going to get really interesting tomorrow when basically gets deposed in public for calling for the hanging of President Biden, Nancy Pelosi, as well as calling.
What about her chasing around survivors of Parkland? That was my first. That was my first. Right after the election, I'm like, oh, this is going to be the new person that takes up all the Trump space. She's chasing around a survivor. I mean, it doesn't. We talk about it. They have to go lower. It's like an addict. They gotta.
Marie, she doesn't.
They gotta get more and worse. More and worse. So before Gal comes, I want to say something. Because of the Nadine interview with Nadine Smith of Equality Florida, where we learned a lot about the moral panic that Ron DeSantis is stirring up in Florida, moral panic. And because of our Nancy McClain interview back to back, I felt it was civic duty to pull an all-nighter looking at all the different bills and legislation and laws in our various states. And so I have a story that will be printed at 1 a.m. in Byline Times, 1 a.m. PT time, that I called, Culture Wars, the Industrial Outrage Complex. but it shows the 86 abortion bills, the 31 that have already passed, the 6 states that have outlawed it. It gives you a roundup of all the, don't say gay activity. And I'm asking folks to look at it. And wherever you are in the States or on this globe, do what you can to dig in and fight, because this is our war. This is how they're trying to steal our country through these false narratives coming from places like DeSantis in Florida and in Tennessee and in Oklahoma and in your beautiful state of Texas, Sean.
Hey, and Ohio. I mean, we could talk about First Energy. We could talk about they're trying to don't say gay thing, but hey, they added in CRT because
it's exactly what Nadine said. It's cookie cutter language being invented at right-wing think tanks, and all of these words. Now it's the math books. It doesn't end with CRT. It doesn't end with grooming. Now it's math and taking away Disney's.
The math books. The math books thing is interesting to me because it only leaves one supplier of math books for the entire state of Florida.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, right.
And we looked at that guy, and that guy used to work for a company called Odyssey-ware, and they got millions from the state of Florida. So I'd kind of like to know where the fuck the kickbacks are there.
Well, follow the money. Yeah,
that's awful interesting. Before we bring on Gal, I have one other subject which you're gonna like, Hi-Fi. Which is WikiLeaks.
Assange.
So just real quick, I've been saying it for a really long time, and it's obvious, but Free Assange is a Russian op.
Yeah.
And the reason you know that is because in QAnon, for example, their 3 heroes in a row are Donald Trump, Michael Flynn, and Julian Assange. Free Assange is an entire cult. It's an entire movement. There's dozens, hundreds of these fucking operatives out there that all they do is they pump up this Free Assange shit. Mm-hmm. And it LARPs, it pretends to be a free speech thing. It ain't a free speech thing. It is a Russian op. They want Julian Assange quiet. And the reason for that is because he knows everything. He knows everything about everybody. So
you can go see all his shows on Russia Today if you like.
Real quick, in 2010,
he knows
Julian Assange was exposing Afghanistan and Iraq, exposing the corruption and the money laundering in Afghanistan and Iraq. Guess who didn't like that at all? Michael Flynn and Eric Prince.
And who ran a psyop against him? Who got caught?
Peter fucking Thiel.
Peter fucking Thiel. That's right.
Is Eric Prince's BFF.
Do you remember the time that Assange hacked Russia? No, because it didn't fucking happen.
That's
right. Actually,
2016. Bring it on. Bring it on. So 2016. Fucking was WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, and where did Pizzagate come from? Where did Mike Flynn's psyop come from? Anyone want to guess? It came from fucking WikiLeaks, because WikiLeaks did the Podesta emails. They got spirit cooking from that email. They turned that into Pizzagate. Pizzagate was a Russian op by Mike Flynn. So,
Yep. Nice little.
Okay, let's introduce our guest.
Our very, very handsome black box.
It's all done post-production to
anonymity is important.
We'll make you look great.
Small boxes, please. Heidi wants to do small boxes.
Yeah, that's good. So
hello,
Gal, you are here at the end of the show to tease something that you and Jim are working on, and can you please explain to our viewers the importance and the magnitude of it?
Oh shoot.
No pressure. No pressure.
You got this, girl. You got
this. Yeah, no. I just got like Teal and Prince and all these things in my head, my brain.
Yeah.
Shake those out. Quickly on the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing, I wanted to let everybody know it's from an organization called Free Speech for People.
Yes,
and they're actually going to be live streaming it. So I would recommend using their live stream just so that they get that attention for the work that they're doing.
I was in contact with those guys. They're very nice and very, very good, very competent attorneys. And very well.
Sean actually gave them some additional information that they did not have because he runs a litigation support firm, and that is his milieu.
That's right.
Awesome. So, okay, gosh, Jim's better at introing things. Jim, what's part 3 called?
It's called, well, I don't know, actually. But it's
we got plan A, we got plan B.
The next sort of section is called Crusade. So I don't know what, but so Crusade meaning like CRUSAID, because USAID has been used over the years as a front for a lot of bad shit. And that's part of what Gal has been educating me on is the history of it overall, where it came from, which is super interesting, but also how Trump weaponized it while he was there, even before the plan to use it to destroy, the elections.
Yeah. So, okay. That helps me. Yeah. So when we talk about, it's the United States Agency for International Development. So it was established by executive order in 1961 by John F. Kennedy.
Right.
JFK. Right. Is very significant. Just
right.
Yeah. It was something I was thinking too, just metaphorically, how a lot of people in the QAnon world have mentioned JFK coming back to kind of save the world or save whatever. So just something that kind of stood out to me. But it basically was to establish aid during this time. It had a different name back after World War II and things like that. But during like the 1960s and 70s, it was kind of run mostly in with the State Department, which it still is, because a lot of it is based on the administration's foreign policy.
And tell us why this is so important and why people need to pay attention, what it means right now in 2022.
Sure. Yeah. U.S. aid has a nearly $30 billion plus budget of taxpayer money that gets allocated, and really their motto is from the American people. So taking responsibility and understanding what from the American people means is incredibly important to be a member of a democracy and somebody who participates in that, because I personally don't want to be tagged for or from the American people if it's pushing some kind of Christendom or a one religion or persecuting people, things like that. So
that was clearly really not the intention of it. That was not the intent. Right.
Yeah, well, that's why it's Crusade, right? Is because there's so many of the people that especially got involved in the Trump administration who are Christo-fascists, who want a one world religion, who are dominionist, doomsday cultist types, who were planning on using this massive international organization to both overturn the elections and to spread dominionist doomsday ideology all across the world using official American mechanisms.
Right. That is freaking fascinating.
That fucking matters.
It sure does.
Yeah.
What's amazing, Gal, is that you guys described in our last Rad Pod and Chill that this was something put together that was supposed to be helpful in other countries. This wasn't something that was supposed to be allocated for domestic terrorism and,
Certainly not. Yeah.
My God. Wow. So Gal, can you help our viewers understand the scope of what we're facing and how many players are involved? Because you investigate these characters one right after the other. And I've been doing a lot of reading from the 30s and 40s, and, there was no shortage of there was no shortage of people in the Third Reich, alas. And I feel like we have this fifth column here, and it is so much bigger than I think most people know. I think it's safe to say that.
Yeah. I go back to my tagline, the Institutes of Mass Destruction. I think that, our IRS laws and regulations surrounding 501c3 and 501c4s are really in need of some, some adjustment and some legislation to protect people. But as far as scope and the people, it's a lot of the same people for the last couple of decades. When you have Cleta Mitchell and J. Christian Adams and Eric Prince, Peter Thiel, a lot of these people are, very closely aligned with the Council for National Policy. One person in particular I keep harping Jim about that nobody is talking about is Rod Martin. Rod Martin is a bit high up in CNP, but he was part of the original PayPal mafia. He lives in Matt Gaetz' district, and he was with the conservative, or he was with the Southern Baptists, and then moved over to the Conservative Baptist something or other. And they actually, for the last year, kind of under, I guess too much flooding the zone with shit, right? We don't know all the things that we don't know. They were going around and touring and doing seminars with pastors called Patriot Pastor.
Yeah.
So it's pushing, it's just pushing this, very authoritarian, conspiratorial, strongman ideology through churches and through people who are impressionable.
I just have to say this real quick. Patriot Pastor. Like,
It's an oxymoron.
You don't get to do that in America. At least you don't get to do that and get nonprofit status.
Right.
I just keep thinking
lose their fucking nonprofit status.
You don't get to do that. You don't get to have political, a whole bunch of political activity in your fucking church and be a nonprofit. There's a thing called the Johnson Amendment that nobody fucking enforces.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you have people. I'm sorry. You have people like her name is she was subpoenaed. Last name starts with an E. She. I can't remember her first name. I'm sorry. She's with TTV, True the Vote. And she went on Ed Schlafly's, Eagles Forum, and she talked about how, basically they were like one of the first 501c3 or 4 nonprofits that challenged the government when the government at IRS came in and said, this is a political organization, and they won. So that's the problem here, is that the same people are deregulating and pushing for things so that they can mix the two. So
Schlafly, I just have to say, because a lot of people don't know, I think you meant to say Ed Martin from Schlafly
I did
Eagles.
mean to say that, yeah. Sorry.
From Schlafly Eagles, which is a CNP organization.
Yes.
It is basically fully owned by the Council for National Policy, and Phyllis Schlafly was an anti-feminist, and also a Dame of Malta, which is
I'm going to go ahead and retweet my article interview for Byline Times that I did with Ann Nelson, who wrote Shadow Network. Because a lot of these players are mentioned in that. So if anybody wants to know more, I'm going to tweet that out.
You can't go wrong with Ann Nelson.
No, she's amazing. Okay. So
it's a true network too. When you talk about the laws, LGBTQ and all of this, same thing.
Yes. They actually have, the beautiful work that Brent Allpress did in, exposing their documents is that you could literally see like who was assigned to, anti-homosexuality, literature, and who was assigned to, you name it. All the things that we talk about that become the headlines that are cover for the mass corruption that is continuing to occur within that party are scripted. as terrific distractions to create moral outrage. And please, one last pitch for this, read my, I don't know what the title will be, but essentially the industrial outrage complex. I worked very hard to show all the different things that are happening in all the states for people to be aware of. And Gal, man, you are in the thick of it in Gates, DeSantis territory. So I'm so grateful that you continue to fight the good fight, because quite frankly, I'm finding Twitter very tragic these days. My friends aren't there. People are super demoralized. There's like 2016 level, anonymous, not anonymous investigative accounts, but literally like the cat or the dog going, oh, my husband has, has lost his foot, and I'm so sad. And then so it's like that kind of shit again, 20,000 likes on things that are just continual distractions. And if somebody
there's a lot of infiltration.
Exactly. If somebody's husband really did lose their foot, I feel bad.
I just want to say, like, what Gal said is important, and everybody please understand this. I'm not trying to make you paranoid, but there is a lot of shit going down right now, right? There is a literal Russian invasion in Europe. There's a whole bunch of very desperate fucking traitors running around who know that the J6 thing is coming up.
Yeah.
And the trolls and the ops and the people who are there to traumatize you and upset you are out in force.
Yeah.
So if you start getting DMs from somebody, all of a sudden, if it feels a little weird, if it's like, if it doesn't seem quite right, like, trust your gut. If somebody comes into your DMs and starts talking shit about somebody randomly, like, think twice about why they did that. So
if it distracts you, if it distracts you from what you're doing and it takes your focus away from something that you were looking at, don't just go back to it.
I like that actually.
Time at all.
Yeah, no, I like the fact that it's even if it distracts you, if it causes a U-turn to whatever you're actually progressing on. I like that. That's really super useful.
He has a whole new
high fives.
I need to get this out. All right, this is very easy to understand. What we are experiencing right now is a global business plot. And if you don't know what the business plot is against FDR, look that shit up. But we are experiencing a global business plot put together by fucking Putin and a bunch of fucking religious nut jobs. That's what we're facing.
And racist nut jobs and fossil fuel nut jobs.
With the oil men,
and extremely wealthy, like atheists who could not give a shit about anything but themselves.
Speaking of wealthy people, the Vatican.
He actually looks like Father was SNL guy.
No, I'm sure
Guido Sarducci.
Thank you.
Know this more than I do. I just realized I just read an article about them funding Rocket Man, the Elton John movie. I didn't realize they had put money into that and actually profited from it. And obviously that's a little contrary to some of the Catholic teachings, but they made some good money on that. And they also,
I was going to say not contrary to profiting though, so that's
no. They've always been profiting. They put in money into Rocket Man and Men in Black 2 were the last two movies that anyway.
It is my Christmas wish in what month are we in? April, that we shoot all these bastards into space. So with that happy Rocket Man note, we are at 7:59. Gal, it's so lovely having you on the beat. I'm so excited to see what you and Jim brew up next. My daughter is DJ Kuda is doing Dower Hour, so I'm going to blow out here at 8.
And to guys, tomorrow I posted in the chat, but I'll post it again for the live link starting in 10 hours as the Georgia voters challenges Republican or Rep Green's candidacy live YouTube. Anyway.
Yes. Yes. Father Guido Sarducci is starting to float out into space himself. I love you guys.
Rosanna.
I'm gonna take a nap till tomorrow. Bye-bye.
This was fun. Yes, thank you so much.